Okay, hello. Hello, hello. I am almost ready. Let's do it. Okay, so tonight I'm going to talk to you about basically like what has influenced me in my early childhood and how that has affected, my sense of style, fashion, my art, and also how it has affected the way I approach my life and my relationships. I was the first of the MTV generation. I was 4 when MTV came out, and I would dance around the living room. Wanted to be Chrissy Hynde, Joan Jett. The Neverending Story is my first favorite movie of all time. I saw it like 6 times in the theater, and I was the childlike empress. I mean, I would wear the white dress, dance around on my bed with like a crucifix. I was totally as a mic, I was totally in love with Atreyu. The Last Unicorn, I had a VCR, right? So I'm like of the first generation to actually have media at my fingertips like that. And my best friend in kindergarten, Sofia Vasilikidis, and I would watch this movie all the time. It's about a unicorn who becomes a princess, but has to be a unicorn because always be yourself. Unless you can be a unicorn, then always be a unicorn. The Dark Crystal is like a goth kid's classic. It's got the Skeksis and the goth castle, the Dark Crystal. The female of the Gelfling species has wings. It's kind of like the Muppets took acid, went to a Ren fair on Tatooine. The Labyrinth is really cool. In the very beginning, she forgets the last line of her monologue. And after going through the labyrinth where nothing is as it seems, and when she confronts the Goblin King, aka David Bowie with a fabulous rock star mullet, she remembers the last line of the monologue is, "You have no power over me." The Princess Bride is about true love. And if "as you wish" means I love you, then count me in. This is the world's greatest kiss. Since the invention of the kiss, there have been only 5 kisses that were rated the most pure, the most passionate, and this one left them all behind. Willow, I had a huge crush. Honestly, who didn't have a huge crush on Val Kilmer after this movie came out? But really, Saoirse's character is really great. She's a princess, but she's also a warrior, and she starts out a bad guy and ends up a good guy. Edward Scissorhands, of course, emo Wolverine with Robert Smith hair. He's so misunderstood and so lonely. He's like the ultimate unavailable guy. "Because you asked me to," is what she asks, "Why did you do that?" And he says, "Because you asked me to." Like, who doesn't want that? Legend, this film is actually the film that has really probably influenced my style and my fashion, my art, more than any other. It's got unicorns and princesses. Tim Curry is Lord Darkness. Princess Lily is seduced by Lord Darkness and becomes this total goth princess. It's like super beautiful. So that's my childhood. Then I became a teenager, and I started having my own relationships and experimenting with sex. And I was like a serial monogamist because you don't want to be a slut, but you definitely don't want to be a prude. And so then, I fell in love. And when you fall in love, especially when you're really young, you have all these ideas. Like, we went to prom together, and then we were together for a long time, and you have all these ideas of what you want, but it's really confusing, and you're really just way too young to really like hash out what a relationship means. So then after several long-term committed relationships, I spent some time by myself, a lot of time by myself, rooting and growing into myself is the way this picture reminds me. And I remember, looking at the patterns in my life, like after my last like super serious boyfriend and I broke up, my friend gave me this calligraphy, and it has this quotation on it. It says, "She knew she had become a burden to him. She took things too seriously, turning everything into a tragedy, and failed to grasp the lightness and amusing insignificance of physical love. How she wished she could learn the lightness." That's from The Unbearable Lightness of Being. And I wanted to learn the lightness of physical love, and I started to notice the patterns and relationships and how I relate. And I started to wonder, like, why, we're inundated from birth. I had this joke, actually. We're inundated from birth to want the party and the dress, Like, it's all about the princess wedding. And I had this whole joke, I've got it all like planned out, except there's this void at the altar. And so I should just marry myself. And my friend who's in the audience said, hey, so why don't you? And I had a year-long engagement where I talked about it, and it was really pretty interesting. It started out as a joke, and like life is performance art, and adventures in narcissism, and it became a very real personal ceremony that I created for myself, where I vowed to walk with my heart up, my head forward, with love, compassion, grace, integrity, and gratitude, till death do I part. And and then I ran away. And there was what was she doing out in the forest by herself on her wedding day? Consummating the marriage, huh? No, I was meditating. But it was a really great party, and my auntie was like, oh, that was so beautiful. I think that everyone should get married before they can marry anyone else. Because that was part of the dialogue, was like, oh, I'm not yeah, can't divorce yourself, can't marry, you can totally marry other people. Like I don't have a personality disorder. But it was really incredible to stand up in front of a bunch of people and make that vow, because it changed my life forever. I renew my vows every so often. And this past summer, I renewed my vows, and I realized my meaning in life, and everything else fell away. I realized that I am a conduit of love from the universe for all life on this planet and any other planet I may travel to. And when you remember that about yourself, it's a lot easier to have authenticity and clarity and love in everything that you do. Even getting out of sticky situations, if you have some heart hurt, you can transmute that just by loving yourself.